far beyond the outer edges of known space, where even the bravest explorers rarely traveled, something strange began to move. It started with a signal. At first, it was weak, so faint that most systems ignored it. But slowly, quietly, it spread across the deep space networks of the galaxy. One by one, listening stations began to detect it. Then trade ships. Then military outposts. The signal was simple. Too simple. It had no music, no symbols of peace, no long introduction. Just a short, repeating message.
Cold. Clear. Direct.
No one could trace where it came from. No one could understand why it felt wrong. In a distant monitoring station near the border of explored space, a young observer named Aaron stared at his screen. He had seen many strange signals before, lost transmissions, broken distress calls, even old war echoes, but this one was different. It did not feel lost. It felt intentional. Aaron adjusted the filters again, trying to clean the signal. His screen flickered, and the message repeated once more. The same pattern, the same tone. "Still there?" asked Leo, his partner, walking into the room with a cup in his hand. Aaron nodded slowly. "It's not changing. Same message. Same timing." Leo leaned closer, frowning. "Any idea who sent it?" "No," Aaron replied. "And that's the problem." They both stood in silence for a moment. Outside the station's wide window, the stars looked calm and endless. Nothing moved. Nothing seemed out of place. But the signal continued. "I don't like this," Leo said quietly. Aaron didn't answer. He had already sent the data to higher command. If this was nothing, they would ignore it. If it was something, then the galaxy was about to notice. And it did. Within hours, the signal reached major systems. Large civilizations began studying it. Advanced AI tried to decode hidden meanings, but found nothing more than what was already clear. It was not a message of friendship. It was not a call for help. It was simply a statement. That was what made it so unsettling. Soon, reports began to come in from deep space scanners. Something had been detected at the edge of the galaxy. At first, the readings were unclear. Too large. Too distant. Then, the images arrived. And everything changed. In a massive command center on a central world, leaders and officers gathered around a wide display. The room was filled with tension. No one spoke as the image slowly sharpened. A shape appeared.
Dark.
Massive.
Silent. It was a ship.
But not like any ship they had ever seen. It was enormous, far bigger than the largest known fleets combined. Its surface looked smooth in some areas, rough in others, like it had been built over a long time. There were no bright lights, no decorations, no signs of communication. Just a cold, heavy presence. "It's real," someone whispered. Another officer shook his head. "That size, it's impossible." But it was not impossible. It was moving. Slowly but clearly, the giant ship was entering the galaxy. More scans were launched, more systems focused on it. But something strange happened. The closer they looked, the less they understood. Sensors failed. Data came back incomplete. Some systems even shut down for a few seconds before restarting. It was like the ship did not want to be fully seen. Back at the small station, Aaron watched the new reports come in. His hands felt cold. "That signal," he said quietly. Leo looked at him. "You think it's connected?" Aaron nodded. "It has to be. It wasn't random. It was a warning." A warning of what? Aaron looked at the screen again. The massive ship, now clearer than before, continued its slow and steady approach. "Of this," he said. Across the galaxy, fear began to spread. Powerful empires that had ruled for centuries felt something they had not felt in a very long time: uncertainty. Their fleets were strong. Their weapons were advanced. But this was something else. Something unknown. Something bigger. The signal repeated again, now heard in almost every major system. Cold. Simple. Unchanging. And still, no one could answer it. No one knew what the ship wanted. No one knew who built it. And worst of all, no one knew if it had come in peace. As the giant vessel crossed deeper into galactic space, one thing became clear to everyone watching. This was not a normal first contact. This was something far more serious. Something that could change everything. And the galaxy was not ready for it. The galaxy had seen many powerful ships before. It had seen war fleets that could destroy planets. It had seen carriers so large they carried entire armies. It had seen machines built with perfect design and glowing beauty. But this ship was different. It did not shine. It did not send signals. It did not even try to be understood. It simply moved, slowly, steadily, like a shadow crossing the stars. Across many systems, long-range scanners stayed locked on the object. Every second, more data was collected. Every second, more questions were raised. In a high-level command station, a group of top officers stood in silence as a massive display showed the ship in full scale. "It's still growing," one officer said, his voice low. Another shook his head.
No.
"It's not growing. It's getting closer." The room fell quiet again. The ship's true size was now becoming clear. It was not just bigger than a fleet, it was like a moving world. Its shape was long and wide, with layers that stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Some parts looked like heavy armor, thick and solid. Other parts looked open, like giant structures built on top of each other. "It looks like a fortress," someone said. "No," another replied softly. "It looks like a weapon." Back at the border station, Aaron sat in front of his screen, watching the same images. His eyes were tired, but he could not look away. Leo stood beside him, arms crossed. "New scans just came in," he said. "You need to see this." Aaron pulled the data onto his display. At first, it looked normal. Energy readings, movement patterns, structural outlines. Then he saw it. "No way," Aaron whispered. "What?" Leo asked. Aaron pointed at a section of the scan. "This part here, it's not just armor." Leo leaned closer. "Then what is it?" Aaron took a deep breath. "It's active. It's producing energy. A lot of it." "How much?" Aaron hesitated. "More than an entire fleet." Leo stepped back slightly. "That's not possible." "Neither is that ship," Aaron replied. The truth was becoming harder to ignore. This was not just a large ship. It was something far more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever created. And it was still coming closer. In the central systems, the strongest alliance in the galaxy finally made a decision. An emergency council meeting was called. Leaders from many civilizations gathered in one place, either in person or through secure communication. The room was filled with tension. "This object has already crossed into controlled space," one leader said. "We cannot ignore this any longer." Another leader spoke, his voice sharp. "Then we destroy it before it reaches any core systems." Murmurs spread across the council. "Destroy it," someone replied. "With what? Have you seen its size?" "We have numbers," the first leader said. "Enough firepower can bring anything down." A third voice joined in, calm but firm. "Or we provoke something we cannot stop." All eyes turned toward the speaker. It was Aaron. He had been called to share his findings, but now he stood in front of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, speaking not as a simple observer, but as someone who had seen the problem first. "We don't know what it wants," Aaron continued. "We don't know who built it. Attacking now would be a mistake." "And doing nothing is better?" one leader asked. "No," Aaron said. "Watching is better. Learning is better." The room grew quiet again. Another officer stepped forward and activated a new display.
"There's more," he said.
"Our deeper scans have found something strange." The image zoomed in on the ship. At first, it looked like empty surface. Then shapes appeared. Small shapes. Thousands of them. "Are those smaller ships?" someone asked. "Yes," the officer replied. "Docked inside and around the main structure." The council members exchanged uneasy looks. "How many?" a leader asked. The officer paused. "We stopped counting after 10,000. Silence filled the room. That number alone was enough to shake even the strongest empires. A ship that size carrying thousands more ships, all unknown. This was no longer just a mystery. It was a threat. Back at the station, Aaron stared at the new data coming in. The giant ship had not changed speed. It had not reacted to scans. It had not sent another signal. It just kept moving forward, like it had all the time in the universe. Leo spoke quietly. Why isn't it doing anything? Aaron answered after a moment. Maybe it doesn't need to. Far away, in the deep darkness of space, the massive ship continued its journey. Silent.
Cold.
Unstoppable. And as it moved closer to the heart of the galaxy, one truth became clear to everyone watching. Whatever this was, it was not afraid of anyone. The Great Council Chamber was larger than most cities. It was built to hold the leaders of the strongest civilizations in the galaxy. Tall walls curved upward into a wide dome, filled with soft light. Rows of seats formed a circle around the center platform, where decisions that shaped entire worlds were made. Today, the chamber felt heavy. No one spoke at first. All eyes were fixed on the giant display in the middle. The image of the unknown ship hovered there, dark and silent, slowly moving through space. It looked even larger now. Closer.
Real.
This cannot continue, one leader finally said, breaking the silence. His voice was sharp and filled with anger. We are wasting time. That thing is entering deeper into our space every moment. Another leader nodded. I agree. We must act now. Send our fleets. Stop it before it reaches any important systems. Murmurs of agreement spread across one side of the chamber. But not everyone agreed. A calm voice rose from the other side. And if we fail? The room quieted again. The speaker stood slowly. It was Aaron. He looked smaller than most of the powerful leaders around him, but his voice remained steady. We have never seen anything like this before, Aaron continued. Our scans don't work properly. Its energy levels are beyond our understanding. Attacking without knowing anything is not strategy, it's panic. One leader leaned forward, clearly annoyed. And waiting is not weakness? No, Aaron replied. Waiting is control. Another leader stood up, his tone more balanced. Then what do you suggest we do? Aaron took a moment before answering. We tried to communicate again. But this time, we do it properly. A clear message. No fear. No threats. A few leaders exchanged looks. We already sent a message, one of them said. And we got nothing useful back. Because we treated it like a normal situation, Aaron said. This is not normal. The argument began to grow. Voices rose across the chamber. Communication is useless. We cannot risk our worlds. If we attack and fail, we lose everything. If we do nothing, we lose control. The council was splitting apart. Some wanted war.
Some wanted peace.
And some were simply afraid. At the center, the image of the giant ship remained unchanged. It did not react to the debate. It did not care about their fear or their plans. It just kept moving. In a quiet corner of the chamber, a senior officer activated another scan report. There is something else you need to see, she said. The room slowly grew quiet again. The display shifted. A closer view of the ship appeared. This time the focus was on its surface. Strange patterns could be seen now, lines, shapes, and structures that looked almost like layers of construction. It was not built all at once. It looked like it had been expanded again and again over time. It's not just a ship, the officer explained. It's a system, a moving base, possibly even a self-sustaining structure. Meaning, one leader asked. Meaning it doesn't need support, she replied. It can operate alone. For a long time. The tension in the room grew even stronger. Another report appeared. Energy readings. Weapons, signatures, defense systems. Everything pointed to one conclusion. This thing, the officer said carefully, is built for survival and war. That was the moment everything changed. The leaders who supported peace looked more uncertain. The leaders who wanted to attack looked more determined. Aaron stepped forward again. That doesn't mean it came to fight. No, one leader replied coldly. But it means it is ready to. Silence returned once more. For a few seconds, no one moved. Then, slowly, a decision began to form. We will do both, the head of the council announced. All eyes turned toward him. We prepare our fleets, he continued. Every major civilization will send forces to a central position. And communication? Aaron asked. The leader looked at him. We send one final message. Clear and direct. Aaron nodded slightly. It was not perfect, but it was better than war without warning. Back at the border station, Aaron and Leo received the council's decision. So, we're getting ready for a fight, Leo said quietly. Maybe, Aaron replied. Or maybe we're giving them a chance. Leo looked at the screen again. The giant ship was now much closer than before. Its dark shape filled a large part of the display. It still showed no fear, no reaction, no sign of slowing down. The new message was prepared quickly.
It was simple, clear, direct.
This is the United Civilizations of the Galaxy. Identify yourselves. State your purpose. Do not advance further without response. The message was sent. Across the stars, fleets began to move into position. Weapons were powered. Shields were raised. The galaxy held its breath. Minutes passed. Then hours. Still no reply. Leo exhaled slowly. Maybe they're not going to answer. Aaron did not speak. He was watching something else. A small change. A faint signal. Coming from the giant ship. His eyes widened slightly. It's responding, he said. The entire galaxy waited. The next moment could decide everything. And for the first time, since the ship appeared,
it was about to speak.
The signal spread across the galaxy faster than anything before it. Every station, every ship, every command center received it at the same time. Screens flickered. Systems paused for a second. Then the message appeared.
Short, clear,
unmistakable. We are humanity. That was all. No long speech. No explanation. No apology. No threat. Just 3 words. In the great council chamber, silence filled the air again. The leaders stared at the message, reading it again and again, as if more meaning would appear. But nothing changed. We are humanity. One leader spoke first. That's it? That's their response. Another frowned. No coordinates. No details. No intention. A third leader leaned back slowly. They answered but told us nothing. At the center of the room, Aaron stood still, his eyes fixed on the message. Humanity, he said quietly. Leo's voice came through the comm from the border station. Have you ever heard of them? Aaron shook his head.
No.
Not once. That alone was strange. The galaxy was old. Very old. Most spacefaring species had records of each other, even if they never met directly. Unknown civilizations were rare. But this one? It had built the largest ship ever seen. And no one had ever heard of it. Back at the station, Leo leaned closer to his screen. I'm running database checks again. Nothing. No history, no signals, no contact records. Aaron replied, it's like they were never part of the galaxy until now. In the council chamber, the debate started again. They're hiding something, one leader said sharply. No species sends a message like that unless they want to confuse us. Or they don't care what we think, another replied. That ship is still moving, a third added. They ignored our warning to stop. All eyes turned back to the display. The giant ship had not slowed down. It had not changed direction. It was still coming. Aaron stepped forward once more.
They responded, he said.
That means they are willing to communicate. Or, they are playing with us, one leader answered. Aaron did not argue. Instead, he looked at the message again.
It's simple, he said.
Maybe that's the point. What do you mean? Someone asked. They didn't threaten us, Aaron explained. They didn't demand anything. They only told us who they are. And that is enough? The leader said with disbelief. No, Aaron replied. But it's a start. The room quieted slightly. For the first time, the fear was mixed with curiosity. Who were humans? Why had they arrived like this? And why did they seem so calm? Back at the border station, new data started coming in from long-range scanners. Leo's eyes widened. Aaron, you need to see this. Aaron quickly pulled up the report. The giant ship was changing. Not in direction. Not in speed. But in activity. Small energy points were appearing across its surface. Systems were activating one by one. Are they powering weapons?
Leo asked.
Aaron studied the readings carefully. No, not exactly, he said slowly. These look like communication arrays, sensors, maybe defensive systems. Defensive, Leo repeated. Aaron nodded. It's like they're preparing but not attacking. In the council chamber, the same data was being shown. They are activating systems, an officer reported. We cannot confirm weapon status, but energy output is increasing. That was enough to push some leaders over the edge. This is it, one of them said loudly. They are preparing for battle. We must strike now. Several others agreed immediately.
Yes.
Before it's too late, we cannot let that thing reach our core worlds. But again, not everyone agreed. Aaron raised his voice. Wait. The room paused. They had a chance to attack already, he said. With that level of power, they could have destroyed our border stations easily. But they didn't. That doesn't mean they won't, a leader replied. True, Aaron said. But it also means they might not want to. The head of the council looked at him carefully. What are you suggesting? Aaron took a breath. We send another message.
A real one this time.
Not a warning. The leader narrowed his eyes. And say what? Aaron looked at the display, at the 3 simple words still glowing there.
We talked to them, he said.
Like equals. The room fell silent again. It was a risky idea, but war against something unknown was even more dangerous. After a long pause, the council leader nodded slowly. Prepare the message. Across the galaxy, systems worked together to create the next transmission. Carefully written, carefully balanced. This is the United Civilizations of the Galaxy. We acknowledge your message. We request peaceful communication. State your intentions. The message was sent. Time passed. Every second felt longer than the last. Then, suddenly, the human ship responded again. This time, the message was longer. And different. A new voice followed.
Calm. Clear.
Human. And for the first time, the galaxy realized this was only the beginning. The second message from the unknown ship did not arrive as text. It came as a voice.
Clear. Calm.
Steady. Every system in the galaxy received it at the same time. The sound was smooth, almost gentle, but it carried a strange weight, like every word had been carefully chosen. This is a representative of humanity, the voice said. We hear your request. In the great council chamber, no one moved. The leaders listened closely, afraid to miss even a single word. We did not come to start a war, the voice continued. But we will not accept threats. A quiet tension filled the room. The message was not aggressive, but it was not weak either. It felt controlled. Back at the border station, Aaron and Leo listened in silence. That voice, Leo whispered. It sounds so normal. Aaron nodded slowly. Yes, and that's what makes it more serious. The message continued. You see our ship and feel fear. That is understandable. We also learned fear long ago. A short pause followed. But fear does not mean we are enemies. The transmission ended.
Just like that.
No name. No details. Only a clear statement. In the council chamber, reactions were mixed. They speak of peace, one leader said. But they also speak of strength, another added. They admit fear, but show no weakness, a third said. The debate was about to begin again, but suddenly, a loud alert filled the room. Multiple fleet movements detected, an officer shouted. The display changed instantly. Across several sectors, Alliance fleets had already taken positions. Hundreds of ships, warships, carriers, defense units were now forming lines in space. Weapons were ready. Shields were active. They're getting too close, one leader said firmly. We cannot risk waiting any longer. Aaron stepped forward. They said they don't want war. And they said they won't accept threats, the leader replied. Look around. What do you think this looks like to them? Aaron paused. He knew the answer. It looked like a trap. Before he could speak again, another officer called out. The human ship is reacting. All eyes turned to the display. The giant vessel was changing again. Large sections of its surface began to move. Panels shifted. Structures opened. Light, soft but powerful, spread across parts of the ship. Energy levels started rising fast. Weapon systems, someone asked. Unknown, the officer replied. But energy output is increasing rapidly. Back at the border station, alarms started ringing. Leo looked at the readings, his face pale. Aaron, this is not normal. Aaron's eyes stayed locked on the data. No, it's not. The human ship was not firing. It was not launching anything. But it was doing something else. Something no one expected. Suddenly, a pulse spread out from the giant vessel. It was fast,
Silent.
invisible, but its effect was immediate. Across the nearby sectors, Alliance ships began to lose power. One by one, systems shut down. Weapons went offline. Shields disappeared. Entire fleets were left floating in space, alive, but completely helpless. In the council chamber, shock turned into fear. What just happened? One leader shouted. Report, another demanded. The officer's hands moved quickly over the controls. We are detecting a wide-range energy pulse. It disabled all active systems within range. Destroyed, someone asked. No, the officer said. Disabled only. No structural damage. No loss of life reported. Silence fell again. That made it worse. If the fleets had been destroyed, it would have meant war. But this was a message. A demonstration. Back at the station, Leo stared at the screen in disbelief. They shut down entire fleets like it was nothing. Aaron spoke quietly. And they didn't harm anyone. Why? Leo asked. Aaron took a deep breath. To show us something. In the council chamber, the human voice returned.
Calm.
Unchanged. We do not wish to fight, it said. But we will protect ourselves. The message continued. Your fleets moved into attack positions. We responded with restraint. The word echoed in the room. Restraint. If we intended harm, the voice said, the outcome would be different. No one argued. No one spoke. Because everyone understood. That was not a threat. It was a fact. The voice ended with one final line. We are still open to peace. The transmission cut off. The chamber remained silent for a long time. Fear had changed. It was no longer fear of the unknown. It was fear of something clearly powerful. Something far beyond anything they could match. Aaron looked around the room. For the first time, even the strongest leaders looked uncertain. They gave us a choice, he said quietly. No one disagreed. Far away, in the darkness of space, the giant human ship continued its slow approach. Untouched, unstoppable, and now finally understood. The galaxy had just seen a small part of its power, and it was more than enough. The silence after the human demonstration did not last long. At first, there was only shock. Then came fear, and soon after, panic. Across the galaxy, news of what happened spread faster than any signal before. Entire fleets, strong, advanced, and ready for war, had been stopped in seconds. Not destroyed, not damaged, just turned off. It was something no one had ever seen. In many systems, people watched the reports in disbelief. Military leaders replayed the data again and again, trying to understand what kind of technology could do such a thing. But there was no answer. Only one clear truth remained. Humanity was far more powerful than anyone expected. In the Great Council Chamber, the atmosphere had changed completely. Before, there had been arguments. Now there was fear. They can disable our fleets at will, one leader said quietly. That means we have no defense. Another shook his head slowly. No, it means they chose not to destroy us. That doesn't make it better, a third replied. It makes it worse. Aaron stood near the center, listening carefully. They're sending a message, he said. Yes, one leader replied sharply. And that message is that we are powerless. Aaron did not argue, because in some way, it was true. At that moment, a new report came in. Multiple civilizations are responding, an officer said. Some are pulling back their fleets. Others are preparing full defenses around their home systems. Defenses? One leader asked. Against what? We just saw what they can do. Another voice joined in, full of worry. Panic is spreading. Several outer systems are requesting permission to evacuate. The room grew louder again. Evacuate entire worlds? This is madness. No, this is survival. The council was losing control. For the first time in a long time, the strongest alliance in the galaxy was not united. It was breaking apart. Back at the border station, Aaron and Leo watched the same reports. Leo shook his head. They're scared. Of course they are, Aaron replied. So are we. Leo looked at him. Are you? Aaron paused for a moment. Then he answered honestly. Yes. Outside the station window, the stars still looked peaceful. But now, every light felt uncertain. The giant human ship was closer than ever. And nothing could stop it. New movement detected, Leo said suddenly. Aaron turned back to the screen. What kind of movement? From the human ship, Leo replied. Multiple small objects leaving its structure. Aaron's eyes narrowed. Ships. Leo nodded. Yes, thousands of them. The display zoomed in. Small ships, far smaller than the main vessel, were moving out in perfect formation. They spread out slowly, surrounding the giant ship like a protective shield. They're deploying a fleet, Leo said quietly. Aaron studied the pattern. No, not attacking positions. Then what? Defensive, Aaron said. Back in the council chamber, the same images appeared. They're expanding their presence, one leader said nervously. This is an invasion. Another leader stood up quickly. We cannot wait any longer. We must strike before they reach our core systems. Strike with what? Someone replied. Our fleets are useless against them. Then we use everything we have. The argument grew louder. Voices filled the chamber. Fear turned into desperation. Desperation turned into dangerous ideas. We still have planet-based weapons. Mass energy cannons. Experimental systems. Aaron stepped forward again. Stop. The room paused. If we attack now, he said, we prove them right. Prove what? A leader asked. That we are a threat, Aaron answered. Silence followed. They showed restraint, Aaron continued. They could have destroyed our fleets, but they didn't. That means something. Or it means they are waiting, the leader replied. Aaron shook his head.
No.
It means they are giving us a chance. The council leader leaned forward. And what if we waste that chance? Aaron looked at the display again. The human ship, the smaller ships around it, all moving calmly, not rushing, not attacking, just present. Then we lose everything, Aaron said quietly. Back at the border station, Leo crossed his arms. So what do we do now? Aaron took a deep breath. We trust them, he said. Leo looked surprised. Just like that? No, Aaron replied. Not blindly. Carefully. At that moment, a new signal appeared on the screen. Stronger than before.
Clearer. Direct.
It's from them again, Leo said. Aaron nodded. Put it through. Across the galaxy, systems activated. Every leader, every station, every ship, all listening. The human voice returned. Calm as ever. We see your fear, it said. The words echoed everywhere. We understand it. A short pause followed. Then the voice continued. But fear does not have to lead to war. The message ended there. Simple.
Clear.
Powerful. In the council chamber, no one spoke. Because deep down everyone knew the next choice would decide the fate of the galaxy. And this time, there would be no second chance. The message from the human ship did not end the fear. But it changed something. For the first time since the giant vessel appeared, the galaxy was not only afraid, it was listening. Across many systems, leaders and citizens replayed the words again and again. We see your fear. We understand it. Simple words. But they felt real. In the great council chamber, the silence was no longer filled with panic. It was filled with thought. They understand fear. One leader said quietly. Another replied, that means they have felt it before. Aaron stood at the center, watching the display. The human ship was now surrounded by thousands of smaller vessels, all moving in perfect order. None of them showed any sign of attack.
They are waiting, Aaron said.
For what? Someone asked. For us, he answered. The council leader leaned forward. Then we should not keep them waiting. A few leaders looked unsure. Others nodded slowly. What do you suggest? The council leader asked. Aaron took a breath. We open a direct channel. Not just messages. A real conversation. That is risky, one leader said. So is everything right now, Aaron replied. The room grew quiet again. Then, slowly, the council leader nodded. Do it. Orders were sent immediately. Across the galaxy, communication systems were aligned. The most secure channels were prepared. Translators, signal stabilizers, and AI systems worked together to ensure one thing: clear contact. Back at the border station, Leo watched the process with wide eyes. This is it, real first contact. Aaron nodded. Yes. Are you ready? Leo asked. Aaron looked at the massive ship on the screen. No, he said honestly. But we don't have a choice. The connection attempt began. At first, there was nothing. Just silence. Then, a signal locked in. Stable.
Strong.
The screen flickered. And then, for the first time, an image appeared. It was not very clear, but it showed a figure. A human. The shape was similar to many known species. Upright, balanced, calm. No armor. No weapons. Just a simple uniform. The figure looked directly forward. Watching. Waiting. This is a representative of humanity. The voice said again. You may call me Eli. The name spread quickly across the chamber. Eli. Simple. Easy.
Real.
The council leader stood up slowly. This is the United Council of the Galaxy. We acknowledge your presence. Eli gave a small nod. Acknowledged. There was no fear in his voice. No anger. Only calm control. You have entered our space without permission, the council leader continued carefully. Your arrival has caused great concern. Eli listened without interruption. When the leader finished, he spoke again. We understand, he said. Your reaction is logical. That answer surprised many. No defense. No argument. Just acceptance. Aaron stepped forward slightly. Then help us understand you, he said. Why are you here? Eli looked directly at him. For contact, he replied. The room went silent again. Contact. One leader repeated. You arrive with a ship like that for contact? Eli did not react to the tone. We came prepared, he said, because we did not know what we would find. Aaron spoke again. Prepared for war? Eli paused for a moment. Yes, he said simply. That answer sent a wave of tension through the chamber. But we did not come to start one, Eli added. Aaron studied his expression. There was no sign of fear. But there was something else. Experience. You expected hostility, Aaron said. Eli nodded slightly. Yes. Why? Another leader asked. Eli's answer came slowly. Because of our past. The chamber grew quiet again. What kind of past? Aaron asked. Eli looked away for a brief second, as if remembering something far away. Then he looked back. A violent one, he said. No one spoke. The weight of those words filled the room. Eli continued. We learned through conflict, through mistakes, through survival. His voice remained calm, but the meaning was heavy. We built strength because we had to. Back at the station, Leo whispered, They sound like us. Aaron nodded slowly. Yes, but stronger. In the council chamber, the tension had changed again. This was no longer just fear of power. This was understanding of it. Eli spoke one more time. We came to meet you, he said, but we will not risk our survival to do so.
Clear. Direct.
Honest. The council leader looked around the room, then back at the screen. And what do you want from us? He asked. Eli answered without delay. A chance, he said. The word echoed through the chamber. A chance. Nothing more. Nothing less. And for the first time, since the giant ship entered the galaxy, the idea of peace felt real. But it was still fragile. And everyone knew. One wrong move could break it. The word chance stayed in the minds of everyone in the council chamber. It was simple, but it carried weight. A chance meant trust. It meant risk. It meant stepping into something unknown without knowing the outcome. And for the galaxy, that was not easy. The image of Eli remained on the main screen. The human representative stood still, calm, waiting for a reply. The council leader spoke first. You ask for a chance, but we must understand who you are. Eli nodded. That is fair. Aaron stepped forward slightly. Then tell us, what is humanity? There was a short pause. Then Eli began. Humanity is a species that lives on a planet called Earth, he said. The name was unfamiliar to most in the room. Earth, one leader repeated. Yes, Eli continued. A world that has faced many struggles. The room stayed quiet as he spoke. Our history is filled with conflict, Eli said. Different groups, different ideas, different beliefs. We fought each other many times. His voice remained steady. We built cities, then destroyed them. We created peace, then broke it. The council listened carefully. This continued for a long time, Eli said. Aaron watched him closely. There was no pride in his voice, only truth. We learned that power without control leads to destruction, Eli continued. So we changed. Changed how? A leader asked. Eli looked directly at the screen. We learned from our mistakes, he said. We studied war, not to repeat it, but to understand it. The words spread through the chamber like a quiet wave. We trained ourselves to survive, Eli added. To defend, to protect, but also to think before acting. A leader leaned forward. And that led to the ship we see now. Eli nodded.
Yes.
That ship is the result of our past. The giant vessel on the screen seemed even more powerful now. Not just a weapon, but a history, a warning, and a shield. Aaron spoke again. You built such a massive ship for defense? Yes, Eli said, to ensure that no one can destroy us again. The room became silent. The idea was difficult to accept. A species that feared destruction so much that it built something this powerful. And what about your intentions now? Aaron asked. Eli did not hesitate. We want to explore, he said.
To connect.
To understand other species. A few leaders exchanged looks. But Eli added, we will not accept control or threats. The tone remained calm, but the message was firm. The council leader spoke slowly. You ask for peace, but also show great power. Eli replied, we show power so that we can choose peace. That statement echoed in the room. Aaron studied Eli carefully. There was something important in his words. Humanity did not seek power for domination. They used power as a protection. That was different. Very different. A new report came in at that moment. An officer stepped forward. There is movement from the human fleet. All eyes turned to the display. The smaller human ships were adjusting position, but not toward attack. They were forming a wider, protective circle around the main ship. Are they preparing for defense? Someone asked. Yes, the officer confirmed, but also creating distance. Aaron understood immediately. They're showing us they don't want conflict, he said. And yet, one leader replied, they are ready for it. Eli spoke again. We understand your concern, he said. You see our strength and think of danger. The chamber remained quiet. That is natural, he continued. But we are not here to fight. A short pause followed. We are here to meet you. The words were simple, but they carried something powerful. Hope. Back at the border station, Leo leaned back in his chair. This is unbelievable. Aaron nodded. They're honest. You trust them? Leo asked. Aaron didn't answer immediately. Then he said, not fully, but enough to listen. Across the galaxy, the debate continued. Some leaders still feared humanity. Others began to consider the possibility of peace. The council leader spoke again. If we accept your request, he said to Eli, what guarantee do we have that this will not end in conflict? Eli's answer was calm. No guarantee, he said. The chamber went still. But, he continued, we are willing to take the same risk as you. That was unexpected. Eli continued. Peace is not guaranteed. It must be chosen. Aaron felt something shift inside him. For the first time, humanity was not just a powerful force. They were a thinking one, a cautious one, a species that had learned. The council leader looked around the room. Then he looked at Aaron. Your thoughts, he asked. Aaron took a deep breath. He looked at the image of Earth's representative. Then he spoke clearly. I believe we should give them a chance. The chamber fell silent, and this time, no one argued immediately, because deep down they all knew this moment could define the future of the galaxy. The council chamber felt different now. Not calm, not fully safe, but also not as tense as before. The idea of humanity was slowly becoming real in the minds of the leaders. Still, trust was not something that could be given easily. It had to be tested. The council leader stood in the center, looking at Aaron and then at Eli's image on the screen. Words are important, he said, but actions matter more. Eli nodded slightly. We agree. A quiet moment passed. Then the council leader continued, if we are to build any kind of trust, we need a meeting. A direct one. Murmurs spread across the chamber. A meeting, face to face. It was a bold idea.
And a dangerous one.
Send a delegation, the leader said, representing our alliance. They will meet your people. The room became quiet again. Eli responded after a short pause. We accept. There was no hesitation in his voice. But Aaron could feel the weight behind the words. This was a test. For both sides. Where will the meeting take place? A leader asked. Eli replied. We can come to a neutral zone. Aaron stepped forward. Not too close to your ship. Not too far from ours. Eli looked at him. Agreed. A location was selected quickly. A space between the two forces. A place where neither side would have an advantage.
It was a simple plan.
But it was also the most important moment yet. Back at the border station, Aaron and Leo watched as preparations began. Do you really think this will work? Leo asked. Aaron did not answer immediately. Then he said, I think this is our best chance. Leo nodded slowly. And if it fails? Aaron looked at the screen. If it fails, he said quietly, then we were never safe to begin with. The first group of delegates was chosen. They were carefully selected from different civilizations. Leaders.
Scientists.
Observers. Each one carried the hopes of their people. Their mission was simple. Meet humanity. And decide if peace was possible. The delegation ships were small compared to the human warship. But they were strong in their own way. They moved slowly toward the meeting point. Behind them, the fleet stayed in position. Watching. Waiting. Ready. Inside one of the delegate ships, the chosen representative stood near the front window. This was Aaron. He had been chosen to represent not just one system, but many. Leo stood beside him. This is it, Leo said. Aaron nodded. Yes. Outside the window, space stretched endlessly. Then, in the distance, the human ships appeared, not as shadows, but as real, solid forms. They were not attacking, not hiding. They were simply waiting, watching, just like the delegates. The two sides slowly moved closer. Each second felt longer than the last. Inside the human ship, Eli stood in a large control room. He looked at the approaching delegation. Do you think they will trust us? Someone asked him. Eli did not look away. They are afraid, he said, but they are also curious. And you, the voice asked. Eli answered calmly. I am prepared. The ships came to a stop. A silence followed. A long, heavy silence. Then, a small shuttle left the human ship. At the same time, a shuttle left the delegate ship. Both moved toward the meeting point.
Slowly, carefully, cautiously.
No weapons. No shields. Just trust. Or the beginning of it. Inside Aaron's shuttle, the tension was strong. This is a bad idea, Leo whispered. Aaron shook his head.
No.
This is necessary. The shuttle continued forward. Closer, closer, until finally, it reached the meeting point. Two shuttles. Two species. One moment. The doors of both ships opened. And for the first time in history, a human stepped into view. Aaron looked closely. Eli stood across from him. In person. No screens. No delay. Just reality. The galaxy held its breath, because this moment would decide everything. The meeting point was silent, not empty, but heavy with quiet tension. Two shuttles stood facing each other in the vast darkness of space. Their lights glowed softly, marking the place where history was about to be made. From one shuttle, Aaron stepped out. From the other, Eli walked forward. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They simply looked at each other, human and alien, standing face to face. Eli was calm, his movements steady. His eyes were focused, not aggressive but observant. Aaron could feel it, the quiet strength in front of him. Not a monster, not a threat, just someone who had seen too much to be careless. Aaron spoke first. "You are Eli." Eli gave a small nod. "And you are Aaron." Aaron was surprised. "You know my name?" Eli replied, "We studied your signal patterns." Your voice was one of the first to show logic instead of fear. That answer made Aaron pause. "So you were watching us closely," Aaron said. Eli answered honestly, "Yes, just as you were watching us." A short silence followed. Then, slowly, Eli gestured toward the open hatch of the shuttle. "Would you like to see our ship?" Aaron looked at Leo for a moment. Leo gave a small nod. This was the moment. Trust was being tested. Aaron turned back and said, "Yes." The two moved together, step by step, into the unknown. Inside the human ship, the atmosphere changed immediately. It was larger than expected, much larger. The corridors were wide and clean. Lights ran along the walls in soft lines, guiding the way. The structure felt strong, but not cold. There was a sense of purpose in everything. "This ship," Aaron said quietly, "it's not just built for war." Eli looked at him.
No.
"It's built to survive anything." They walked deeper into the ship. The sounds were controlled. No chaos. No noise. Everything had a place. Everything had a function. As they moved, Aaron noticed something strange. The crew. They were not soldiers shouting orders. They were calm, focused, working together without fear. "This is different from what we expected," Aaron admitted. Eli nodded. "That was intentional." "Explain," Aaron said. Eli stopped walking for a moment. "Humanity learned long ago that fear creates mistakes," he said. "We built systems to remove panic from decision-making." Aaron listened carefully. "So your ship," Aaron said, "is not just powerful. It is controlled." "Yes," Eli replied. "Power without control is dangerous." They reached a large open room, a command center. From here, the entire ship could be managed. Screens showed systems, movement, energy flow, and external space. But what stood out most was not the technology. It was the discipline. Every human present worked calmly. No shouting. No confusion. Just focus. Aaron looked around slowly. "This place, it feels alive," he said. Eli smiled slightly. "In a way, it is." Meanwhile, back on the delegate ship, Leo was watching everything through a secure link. "Aaron," he said softly, "be careful." Aaron heard him, but didn't respond, because something was happening. Something important. Inside the human command room, Eli stopped in front of a large display. "This is the core of our system," he said. Aaron looked closely. The display showed not just weapons or defense systems, but balance, energy management, safety controls, redundant systems, everything designed to prevent failure. "You planned for everything," Aaron said. Eli replied, "We planned for survival." A pause. Then Aaron asked, "And us?" Eli turned to him. "We planned for you too." The words were simple, but they carried meaning. Aaron looked at the systems again. There were defensive systems, strong ones, but they were not activated. They were ready, but controlled. "This ship could destroy entire fleets," Aaron said. Eli did not deny it. "Yes. But you didn't use it," Aaron continued. "No," Eli said, "because we didn't need to." That moment changed something. Not everything, but enough. Aaron realized something important. Humanity was not just powerful. They were disciplined, and that made them even more dangerous, but also more reliable. Back in the command center, Eli spoke again. "We do not wish to be your enemy." Aaron met his gaze. "And if we become allies?" he asked. Eli answered without hesitation. "Then we become stronger, together." The words echoed in the room, not as a promise, but as a possibility. Outside, the vast human ship remained still. A monster to some, a protector to others. But inside, it was something different. A system,
A mind.
a civilization, and now, a potential partner. Aaron took a deep breath. The next step would decide everything.
Trust.
Or war. The meeting between Aaron and Eli changed the mood across the galaxy. It did not remove fear, but it reduced it. Slowly, carefully. Now, instead of preparing only for war, the galaxy began to think about something else. Possibility. Inside the human ship, Aaron and Eli stood together in the command center. Around them, systems continued to run smoothly. The crew moved with quiet focus, maintaining control over everything. Back in the council chamber, the leaders watched the live connection. This time, they were not arguing. They were thinking. The council leader spoke first. Your ship is powerful. Your people are disciplined. But power can still lead to conflict. Eli listened carefully. Aaron added, and trust can lead to safety or betrayal. Eli nodded slightly. That is true. A moment of silence followed. Then Eli spoke again. We understand your concern, he said. That is why we propose a new approach. The room leaned forward in attention. A balance, Eli continued. A balance, one leader asked. Yes, Eli said. Not domination. Not control. Balance. Aaron watched him closely. Explain. Eli gestured toward the display. We keep our fleets at a distance. You do the same. Why? A leader asked. So neither side feels threatened, Eli replied. The idea spread quickly across the council. Some leaders looked unsure. Others looked hopeful. Aaron stepped forward. If both sides lower their defenses slightly, it sends a message. What message? Someone asked. That we are willing to trust each other, Aaron said. A few leaders exchanged looks. Trust. It was a dangerous word, but also a necessary one. The council leader finally spoke again. And if something goes wrong? Eli answered calmly. Then we respond together. The room fell silent. That answer was different. Not one side protecting itself, but both sides responding together. Aaron felt something shift again. This was not peace yet, but it was close. After long discussion, the council reached a decision. A temporary agreement. A controlled zone would be created between the two forces. Both sides would reduce their weapons in that area. No aggressive movement would be allowed. It was not a full alliance, but it was a start. Back at the border station, Leo listened to the decision. So, we're not at war? He asked. Aaron gave a small smile. Not today. Leo sighed with relief. That's good. But it's not over, Aaron added. I know, Leo said. But it's better than before. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Eli received the same information. He looked at the report carefully. Then he nodded. This is acceptable, he said. His crew did not react with excitement. They simply continued their work. Focused. Prepared. Inside the command center, Aaron and Eli stood together again. Your people accepted the balance, Aaron said. Yes, Eli replied. For now. Aaron understood the meaning. Nothing was permanent. Everything depended on actions. You still don't fully trust us, Aaron said. Eli looked at him. Trust is earned, he replied. Aaron nodded. And we're trying to earn it. Yes, Eli said. And we're trying to give you the chance. There was honesty in his voice. No tricks. No hidden agenda. Just truth. For the first time, Aaron felt something new. Respect. Not fear. Not suspicion. Respect. As they spoke, new systems activated across both sides. Human ships adjusted their positions slightly. Alliance fleets did the same.
Carefully.
Respectfully. Like two sides learning how to move without stepping on each other. Back in the council chamber, the leaders watched everything. The humans are holding their position, one said. They are not advancing, another added. That means they are keeping their word, a third said. Aaron spoke again. This is how it begins, he said. Not with war, but with understanding. The council leader nodded slowly. Yes, he said, but we must stay careful. Of course, Aaron replied. Eli also spoke. We will remain cautious as well. The balance was fragile, but it existed. And that was enough for now. In space, the fleets on both sides watched each other from a distance. No weapons fired. No ships advanced. For the first time since humanity arrived, there was silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of control. And within that silence, a new future began to take shape. Not perfect, not guaranteed, but possible. And sometimes that was enough. The galaxy did not become peaceful overnight. But something important had changed. The fear was still there. The power was still there. But now so was understanding. Days passed after the balance agreement. The fleets on both sides remained in position, but the tension slowly reduced. Ships no longer pointed weapons directly at each other. Systems stayed active but not aggressive. It was a careful peace. Inside the human ship, life continued as normal. The crew followed their routines with discipline. Every action was controlled, every movement precise. There was no celebration of victory. Because for humanity, this was not a victory. It was a beginning. Eli stood in the command center, looking at the main display. Aaron was beside him, watching the same view. "The galaxy is watching us closely," Aaron said. Eli nodded. "And we are watching them." "Do you think this will last?" Aaron asked. Eli paused for a moment. "I think it can," he said, "if both sides choose it every day." Aaron looked at him. "That is not easy." Eli replied, "No, but it is necessary." On the council side, the leaders were also adjusting to the new situation. Reports showed that panic across many systems had reduced. Civilizations that once prepared for evacuation were now watching and waiting. Some still feared humanity. Others began to study them. A few even suggested forming stronger connections. But all agreed on one thing. Humanity was not an enemy. At least, not now. In the council chamber, the leader addressed everyone. "This is not the end of danger," he said. "But it is the beginning of something new." Aaron stood beside him. He looked at the leaders, then at the display showing both fleets. "Before," Aaron said, "we saw humanity as a threat." He paused. "Now we see them as a force." The room listened carefully. "A force that could destroy," Aaron continued, "but also protect." He turned slightly toward Eli's image. "And that is what makes them different." The council leader nodded. "Then we must adapt," he said. "Not with fear," Aaron added, "but with understanding." Back in space, the two fleets continued their silent watch. No shots were fired. No commands were given to attack. Only observation. Only caution. Only awareness. Then, something new happened. A small human ship moved forward. Slowly. Carefully. It left the main formation and approached the neutral zone. On the council side, alarms briefly activated. "Is this a threat?" someone asked. But Aaron quickly responded, "No. Look closer." The ship moved alone. No weapons activated. No shields raised. It simply moved. It stopped at a safe distance from the neutral zone and remained there. Watching. Waiting. Eli's voice came through the channel. "We are beginning small steps," he said. "What kind of steps?" the council leader asked. "Steps toward normal contact," Eli replied. Aaron smiled slightly. Small steps. That was how everything began. Back at the border station, Leo watched the movement with interest. "They're testing the peace," he said. Aaron nodded. "Yes. And so are we." Leo leaned back. "It's strange seeing the galaxy this quiet," Aaron replied. "It won't stay quiet forever." "Why not?" Leo asked. "Because change always brings challenges," Aaron said. "Good or bad?" "Both," Aaron answered. In the distance, the giant human ship remained still. A massive presence in space. No longer just a terrifying unknown, but now a known force. A powerful one. A controlled one. A watching one. And for the first time since its arrival, the galaxy was not just reacting to it. It was learning from it. The Alliance began new discussions. New systems of communication. New ways to share information. Slowly, carefully, both sides started building something that had never existed before. Not war. Not fear. But connection. And though many dangers still remained, one truth was clear to everyone who watched. The arrival of humanity did not destroy the galaxy. It changed it. And sometimes, change is the beginning of something greater than anyone could imagine.